In 2016, a 22-year-old college student named Brianna Carter vanished on her way home from work in Austin, Texas. Her disappearance would become one of the most haunting and mysterious cases the city had ever seen. It started like any other Friday night. The streets were busy, the air was warm, and Brianna had just finished her late shift at a local cafe near the University of Texas. Her coworkers said she seemed happy, tired, but cheerful. She talked about taking the weekend off to visit her family. At 10:47 p.m., security footage captured her walking out of the cafe. She smiled, waved goodbye to a coworker, and got into her gray Honda Civic. That would be the last confirmed sighting of her alive. About half an hour later, at 11:15 p.m., a driver passing through County Road 212 noticed something strange. A small gray car was sitting on the side of the road with its headlights on. The engine was running. The driver's door was wide open. When police arrived, they found Brianna's car. Inside were her phone, her wallet, and her keys, still in the ignition. Her shoes were on the floorboard. Her purse sat neatly on the passenger seat. There were no signs of a struggle, no blood, and no footprints leading away from the car. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Detective Maria Ruiz, one of the first officers on the scene, later said, "It didn't look like someone ran away. It looked like someone was taken." The next morning, search teams spread out across the area. Dozens of volunteers combed through fields and wooded trails. Bloodhounds picked up Brianna's scent for nearly half a mile before it suddenly disappeared near a dirt road leading into the woods. Police brought in helicopters, drones, and even thermal imaging cameras. But there was no trace of her. Within days, her face was everywhere. Local news stations, posters, social media feeds, everyone was talking about the missing student from Austin. Her mother, Denise Carter, stood in front of cameras and pleaded, "Please, if anyone knows anything, bring my daughter home." Then came the first major lead. A truck driver reported seeing a dark pickup following a gray car along that same road around the time Brianna disappeared. Police released a sketch of the truck and asked for tips. Dozens of calls came in. None of them led anywhere. Detectives began to dig deeper into Brianna's personal life. She was a communications major, a hard worker, and close to her family. But she had a secret she hadn't told many people about. For nearly a year, she had been in an on-and-off relationship with a man named Eric Dalton. Dalton was 35 years old, a former security guard with a criminal record that included burglary and assault. Friends said Brianna had tried to end things with him several times, but he kept finding ways back into her life. He was controlling, jealous, and unpredictable. When investigators searched Brianna's phone, they found a series of messages that raised red flags. In one, she told a friend, "He keeps showing up where I work." In another, just 2 days before she vanished, she wrote, "If anything happens to me, it's Eric." When questioned, Dalton said he hadn't seen Brianna in over a week. He claimed he was working late at a warehouse that night. But when police checked, his story fell apart. Security footage showed him clocking out at 9:30 p.m., over an hour before Brianna disappeared. Still, without physical evidence, detectives couldn't make an arrest. Months passed. The search slowed down. The public moved on. Brianna's family refused to give up, organizing vigils and search parties every year on the anniversary of her disappearance. But the trail had gone cold. Then, in 2021, 5 years later, the case was reopened by a new cold case investigator. This detective decided to re-examine the evidence from Brianna's car, using new forensic technology that hadn't been available in 2016. DNA swabs from the driver's door handle were retested, and this time, there was a match. The name was one they already knew, Eric Dalton. Police arrested Dalton and brought him in for questioning. For hours, he denied everything. But as the evidence piled up, his story started to change. He finally admitted that Brianna had come to see him that night. They argued in his truck. He said she threatened to expose him for selling stolen electronics from his old security job. According to his confession, things got out of hand. Investigators believe Dalton killed Brianna during that argument. then drove her car to County Road 212 to make it look like she had gone missing. He buried her body on private land outside Bastrop County, a place he once worked security for. When police searched the property, they found human remains wrapped in a tarp. Dental records confirmed what everyone feared. It was Brianna Carter. During the trial, prosecutors presented Dalton's confession, the DNA evidence, and witness testimony showing his history of violence. The defense tried to argue it was an accident, but the jury didn't believe him. Dalton was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 35 years in prison. For Brianna's family, the verdict brought some closure, but no peace. Outside the courthouse, her mother told reporters, Brianna was supposed to graduate that year. She wanted to tell stories that inspired people. Now her story is the one being told. Today, her memory lives on through community vigils, scholarships in her name, and the countless people who refuse to let her be forgotten. Her favorite cafe still keeps a framed picture of her near the counter, a reminder of a young woman full of life, taken too soon. Every April, her mother drives out to that same stretch of County Road 212. She leaves a sunflower by the roadside and whispers a prayer. The story of Brianna Carter reminds us that evil doesn't always come from strangers in the dark. Sometimes it hides behind a familiar face, a person you trust, a voice you think you know. It's a chilling truth that makes stories like this all the more haunting. But it also reminds us of something else, that justice, no matter how long it takes, can still be found. Thanks to the persistence of investigators, advances in technology, and a family's unwavering hope, the truth finally came to light. This has been the story of Brianna Carter, an American crime story about trust, betrayal, and the power of never giving up. If you found this story moving, please like, share, and subscribe for more true crime investigations from across the country. Every case we share keeps the memory of the victims alive and reminds us that truth always finds its way to the light.